out your womb. Bayview residents have had enough.
My name is Tanya Randell. I am the Administrative Director for the Marie Harrison Community Foundation for Science and Health.
And what's happening here in Hunters Point?
It's a rally of people that want things to change. They know we have bad water, bad soil, bad air, all of that. It's us pulling together under Camila Elam for all things Bayview.
And what's the city doing about this?
Very little, very little. It's not, unless it's in their face, they don't want to touch it.
Has the health department done any surveys of the residents and workers out here?
No. You can ask them yourself, no. We need surveys, we need people out here that we can trust to move things forward. But right now, no. They just keep building and leaving, the residents around here, the residents around here to just die.
And they say that they've cleaned it up. Is that true?
When has the government ever told the truth? No, it's not. No.
There's still a lot of toxic radioactive material out here in Hunters Point?
Yes, there is. You have asbestos in the old buildings. You have soil that's been contaminated by radiation. All of that. Pieces of chips of paint from boats that were radiated. You can't pick it all up. But we want this part we want this part of Bayview to be for everybody. No homes, just more parks, clean the air, be where we need to be.
And when you go to the city, what does the city say? Because I know there was a hearing, Haney had a hearing where they had the health department there, asked what they were doing, and they said basically nothing. Is that true?
Yes. We support San Francisco, what is that called? San Francisco's environmental department, and we want our people to go forward. I'm with AB 617, the Clean Air Act, to bring that here, and we're going to get it. And the Navy also produced a doctor, I think her name is Higgins, who studies plants, radiation on plants. But instead of saying where are the clusters of cancer, she says it's inherited. It must be in your blood. Radiation is in our blood. Arsenic is in our blood. No.
What does that say about the people who run San Francisco, the billionaires, the Democrats, Mayor Lurie? What is their responsibility?
Their responsibility is to treat us the same way any other neighborhood in San Francisco would be treated. Good water, good air, good land, all of that. But they don't want to listen to the neighborhood. They don't want to listen to District 10. And actually, Mayor Lurie wants to bring the Tenderloin people over here too. We're just bringing ourselves out of so much, and you want to pile it on us again. That's not fair.
How about putting in Pacific Heights?
That would be a great place,
Lots of empty mansions out there. How about housing?
Exactly. Get them out of the cold. There's apartments here. There are 140% of the high-end units completed. 140%. This community and middle income, 35%. We're at 35%. That's where they're helping us, 35%.
But they want to build more condos, $1 million condos in San Francisco?
Yes. And who's going to be in those? Who's going to work for the buildings? Who's going to do that? Nobody. A lot of the units here have been left as summer, as summer rentals.
So they're using these units as summer rentals, not for people who need housing?
Yes. So the unit will stay closed for maybe most of the year, maybe 3 months or a month, they're back in. Instead of taxing them for those. Tax those people for leaving their homes vacant. Don't keep complaining somebody broke in. How would you know you're not here?
So the speculators are using this property for summer rentals? Is that what you're saying?
No, all over the city. Those statistics, the 140% was about the entire city, not just Bayview. But it's not inclusive. and our units are less, we have less amenities, you know. They do the bare minimum, and if they can get out from under that, they will. I know we have a lot of investment over here. This is the most beautiful place in San Francisco, and our weather is so good. You know, you may be raining over there, but we're good over here. So yes.
So the billionaires want this land.
Yes, as you know, property prospects, but they'll get out of all of that and wash their hands, so that people who do get sick, they're going to have to sue the present people who run those buildings.
And do you think that this issue of health care should be a human right? It seems like people have to fight for their health care in San Francisco.
We do. It's just like breathing, walking, being healthy. It's a right to have good, clean air to breathe. It's a right to have a good place to live. It's a right to have something that you can work towards. That's all we need. You know, you have kids here who never even left Bayview. So they don't know what San Francisco is outside our community. That has to change, and it will.
And what happened here today, this rally? You had a rally in March?
This is for Earth Day. They're also doing a mural, which is beautiful.
Nice.
But this is where All Things Bayview comes. You know, they walk through the streets chanting, and then they end up here, because this is where the most of the toxins are.
That building there is one of those
Yes.
contaminated buildings, right?
Yes.
What are they doing with that building?
Nothing right now. When they want the land, that's when they'll clean it.
My name is Camila Elam, and I'm a legacy and current advocate and resident of Bayview Hunters Point. And I'm here celebrating our annual Earth Day March and Rally right here in the heart of Bayview Hunters Point, where we are grabbing the baton and fighting for our own lives and letting folks know that residents care about whether we have clean water and whether we have clean air and whether we live on toxic soil like we are.
Well, they say it's been cleaned up. You don't believe that?
Oh, we definitely know that's a lie. From Tetra Tech scam to deck markers being found again, you know, and it's important that we make sure that we stand on the truth, because we are a shoreline community and a fence line community facing sea level rise. So we will be the ones that will be first impacted, not the only impacted, because the whole entire city and Bay will be impacted, but we will be impacted first in the toxic soup, because we're already surrounded by some of the largest standing sources of pollution and actually mobile, because we're surrounded by so much diesel pollution as well. So our lives are really on the line if they don't clean up this community.
And sea rising, it is happening, and all this material that's been contaminated material, toxins, radioactive material that was gotten off ships, contaminated ships, sandblasted, is in this soil. So you're concerned, and people in the community are concerned that they're going to be contaminated again, even more so than they are now.
Of course, you know, metal, it deteriorates, but it doesn't dissolve. So, of course, over these years, over these 40 and 50 years, now it's already in the soil, it's in the water, it's in the air, you know, so, and it's scientifically proven. So, of course, we're concerned. Even though the Navy seems to intimidate all government agencies, well, our lives are on the line, so it's kind of hard for us to be intimidated by the Navy. We just need folks to actually clean up before they build, clean up before they redevelop. They've moved certain new developments closer to the shoreline, so our lives are even further, you know, impaired, and our life expectancy is further impacted. We're already have 15 years less of life expectancy than the other communities right across the city. So it's very important that we stand on business about our lives being online. I grew up with cancer. I grew up with asthma. I grew up with cancer being normal. My grandmother had cancer, and then man, my neighbor is in remission right now and thinks cancer is she's gonna get cancer again. so I grew up with this stuff being normal, and it is not. And it's not genetic. It's from our environment. We're smarter now, so we're asking the doctors to do these tests, biomonitoring tests, and it's not genetic like they've been telling us for generations. It's from the environment.
And what does the city of San Francisco, Mayor Lurie, say about this?
They ignore us, because of the EJ groups, right? So he's just a legacy of mayors that ignore us. Willie Brown ignored us. London Breed ignored us. And now Mayor Lurie, we see him out here in the streets. When he was just out here with all the government agencies, he didn't have not one person from the community. So, it's like more of the same. We have to step above them and go straight to the federal, go straight to the EPA, go straight to the state folks, because the city and county is the reason why we're dying.
Because they've allowed this. They say it's safe here. Is Amy Brunell still working for the city? As an environmental engineer?
Oh, man, she's what
did she do? Who was she?
Well, she was the one that allowed them to develop and said it's clean, and it's not. She's the one that gave them the green light. It's not just Willie Brown, but it's definitely Amy Brunell.
Paid for by Lennar, developer?
Paid by Lennar, and that's why Lennar and 5 Points think that they're running everything. That's why Darling thinks that they're running everything. That's why the Southeast Treatment Facility thinks that they're just lawless, because they've been able to operate without regulation, efficient regulation, enforcement. They've been able to on the backs of us, and now we're dying. We're dying at 50. We have a low birth rate. Our babies are born with asthma. Our babies are born 5 to maybe 6 pounds. So we're really dying out here, and we just need folks to understand that even though San Francisco is a leader in environmental justice, right here in their own front and backyard, Bayview Hunters Point, they're not doing nothing to help us.
And does that have to do with systemic racism?
It definitely, systemic racism, systemic oppression. It has definitely generations and generations and generations of it. And they want to build. They do want profit over people. They do want this city to be, more just development. They want to bring back the old Butcher Town, but they forgot that they have lives here, and so they just want to kill us off slowly but surely.
But you're not going to put up with that.
Oh, no. We standing out here. We're gonna be out here. If it's only Bayview residents, we are gonna let them know, especially on Earth Day, that we belong here. We are here. Our wildlife belongs here. We deserve to have clean air. We deserve to have air quality. We deserve to have drinking water, good drinking water. We deserve to have a clean soil. We shouldn't have to be surrounded by toxic brown fields and landfills for over 40, 50 years. That's where our children's play. Leota said that's where he swum. Well, I'm a little bit younger than him, but we used to jump the fence and climb the fence, and we could have been playing right in radioactive waste, and so they just don't care, but they need to care because we're somebody too. We deserve to live. We deserve to have proper health care, community-specific health care. We deserve to have respiratory issues and respiratory health care, specific health care to match the issues that we are facing here in the community.
And East Palestine is another community that's been contaminated. They're fighting also for health care. Yes. They're covered up. The workers who were supposed to clean up that site have also gotten disease and cancers. I mean, it seems like the government is allowing people to die and be contaminated, and they can't even move out of their homes. It's an international issue.
It's an international issue. I just had the privilege to go to the Goldstein Awards last night, and I tell you, it's all over the world. In Peru, right, and then Massachusetts in North America. I mean, we're fighting the same fight. So again, it's a thing now. It's a trend to have profit over people. It's an international trend, and they need to understand that they wouldn't be here to be able to make profit if it wasn't for the people. You can't make profit if you don't have people. So again, we need to go back to the books and take care of the land, take care of the water, take care of the air, and take care of the people. And that's how we'll be really truthfully profitable.
And how can people get in touch with you?
You can always go to allthingsbayview.org. I really like for you guys to go to allthingsbayview.org and click on our virtual toxic tour. That's where you can see all the sites, the permitted, the unpermitted sites that are right in our backyard. Folks can't come out to our personal in-person toxic tour. Well, we have a virtual toxic tour right on our website at allthingsbayview.org. So, you can definitely reach us there. All of our partners, we're closely connected. The Marie Harrison Foundation Action, Green Action for Health and Environmental Justice, we are all one. So we need the government agencies to do the same thing, work together to solve the problem as one. As we are coming together and fighting for justice as one, they should be doing the same thing.
I'm Eric Marr from the Richmond District, former supervisor for the Richmond. I'm here on Earth Day supporting Green Action for Environmental Justice and the low-income communities in the Bayview, Hunters Point area. They face the worst pollution and living conditions of anyone in the city, and I'm here to support empowerment of grassroots groups as they challenge gentrification, big business privatization, elimination of safety net and all the services, and they're standing up for a more sustainable future. I always support Green Action and the youth here.
And we have a new mayor, Daniel Lurie. Where does he stand on this? Because there have been hearings, city hearings. Haney had one where residents came and said, are you doing testing of the residents? Are you doing any surveys of people who are sick as a result of living out here? Apparently the Department of Public Health said, no, we're not even investigating what's going on.
Right. I haven't followed what the new mayor has done in his first, a couple hundred days now. But it just seems like he's representing the class. He comes from a multimillionaire, billionaire class.
Levi Skyen.
And but I hope that grassroots groups, environmental organizations unite to hold him accountable. The cleanup here in Hunters Point and Bayview, Treasure Island and other places has been so racist in how the community's been gaslit so much, whether it's asbestos in the serpentine rock to just the radiation here in the shipyard and the lack of cleanup. But now there's kind of these $1 million condos that are right next to us. And hopefully with some of the residents here and others that can unite with the low-income communities, they could hold the mayor accountable. But I think it's going to take mass movements, united with labor and other communities and neighborhoods to force the mayor to take any kind of action for the lowest income African American communities. I haven't followed what Lurie's environment department has done, but it's usually performative and it's really not getting to the root of the horrible conditions that low-income, heavily people of color, but working class and low-income people live under, and it's all hidden from the skyscrapers downtown. But it's good to come out here every year with Green Action. I'm glad there's a march, but I wish there was more solidarity and support for the low-income, working class communities out here.
And the Trump government is basically shutting down agencies, EPA, OSHA. They are shutting down, they're firing scientists who investigate hazards, toxic dump sites. Are you concerned about that and also the rise of fascism in this country?
Yeah, it's very clear in the 100+ days of Trump that it's not just a Republican MAGA takeover, but it's really the precursor to fascism in the U.S. and it's global with the alliances with the different right-wing dictators and autocrats and fascists from Italy to Romania to so many different countries.
Argentina.
Yeah, Philippines, and this global rise of fascism, at least in the U.S., yeah, the most wholesale assault on unions to bust, 800,000 to 1 million federal workers to lose collective bargaining with the Trump's recent moves. But I support the federal unionist network and the different federal employees unions I think the lawsuits are one thing, but it's a right-wing court that we're dealing with. So the mass movements and people being in the streets and development of whether it's the Working Families Party or other alternatives.
A Labor Party?
Yeah. Alternatives to the corporate Democratic Party. I think it's becoming much clearer for people that they have to find the alternatives, and hopefully it's based in working class communities.
Do you think there should be a general strike in this country?
Yeah, I totally, hopefully May Day will lead up to broader unity, especially among the federal workers as they face the wholesale destruction of collective bargaining that's been generations to develop. But many of us are going to be at the Veterans Hospital on Wednesday, tomorrow at noon, as they start to do weekly pickets. But that's the National Federation of Federal Employees, Local 1, and Mark Smith is a great organizer, but they need so much support. But Wednesday,
They have weekly pickets at the Veterans Hospital.
they're starting them, and then this Wednesday at the Farmers Market, many of us from the Richmond district are going to be out to support the federal workers at the VA hospital. And it's not just the assault on the workers or the patients, but it's really kind of the beginning of the attack on labor movement and collective bargaining. But there's a lot of different issues that are out there, but we're hoping to just do a local action. I live right by the hospital and Ocean Beach, and many of us will be out there with the farmers market and to support the workers.
Well, it seems like Trump and Musk are attacking everybody at the same time, so there's a possibility of unity because they're basically attacking the entire working class, black, brown, everyone, environmentalists, scientists, public workers.
Yeah, I think the right-wing MAGA flood the zone thing where you throw everything and it has an impact of potentially disorienting people. But yeah, I think you're right. For us to be strategic, to support unity of the labor movement with the oppressed communities like here in the Bayview, to even the most impacted workers, the federal workers right now seem to be heavily hit, and they need more solidarity and our support.
Bayview residents have had enough. Bayview residents have